Consultive value selling represents a fundamental shift in how B2B sales is practiced in high-value, complex environments. It is the convergence of consulting discipline with selling execution. In traditional sales, the focus is on products, features, pricing, and persuasion. In consultative value selling, the focus shifts to understanding, diagnosing, and solving business problems that matter deeply to the customer. The salesperson no longer behaves as a vendor pushing offerings, but as a trusted advisor shaping decisions. This approach becomes especially critical in industries involving engineered solutions, industrial products, and mission-critical applications where failure is expensive and reputational damage is irreversible. Buyers in such environments are not looking for sellers. They are looking for certainty, clarity, and risk reduction. Consultative value selling delivers exactly that. Traditional selling evolved in an era where information asymmetry favored salespeople. Buyers depended on sales representatives for knowledge, access, and options. Today, buyers arrive informed, opinionated, and often skeptical. They can compare products online, benchmark prices, and involve procurement teams early in the process. What has not changed, however, is the complexity of business risk. Despite having information, buyers struggle to interpret consequences, evaluate trade-offs, and foresee long-term impact. Traditional selling fails because it attempts to persuade informed buyers instead of helping them think better. Consultative value selling succeeds because it replaces persuasion with insight. It shifts conversations from what you sell to what happens if this goes wrong. Every buying decision is anchored in belief systems. Customers believe that cheaper options are safer, that most suppliers are similar, and that procurement must minimize cost. These beliefs guide their behavior more strongly than logic or data. A consultative value seller understands that selling is not about changing minds directly, but about replacing outdated beliefs with more accurate ones. This is done by exposing hidden risks, highlighting consequences, and reframing how the problem is understood. When beliefs shift, decisions follow naturally. Consultative value selling follows a disciplined diagnostic process similar to professional consulting or medical practice. Examination. Examination involves asking thoughtful, layered questions that uncover operational realities, constraints, and vulnerabilities. Rather than superficial qualification questions, examination focuses on understanding failure points, process dependencies, and business exposure. Effective examination creates awareness. Customers often tolerate inefficiencies or risks without fully recognizing their impact. Skilled questioning brings these issues to the surface without confrontation. Diagnosis. Diagnosis is the ability to name the real problem behind visible symptoms. Customers typically describe symptoms, delays, failures, inefficiencies, or complaints. The value seller reframes these symptoms into root causes connected to decisions, assumptions, or process gaps. Accurate diagnosis establishes authority. When customers feel understood at a deeper level, trust increases and resistance decreases. Prescription. Prescription is not a sales pitch, it is the logical conclusion to the diagnosis. The recommended solution aligns directly with the customer's operational realities, business goals, and risk profile. At this stage, the solution feels inevitable rather than optional. Price becomes contextual rather than central. Prescription is not a sales pitch. It is the logical conclusion to the diagnosis. Prescription is not a sales pitch. It is the logical conclusion to the diagnosis. Let's take a case study of premium industrial adhesive company. Consider a premium industrial adhesive manufacturer supplying structural bonding solutions for heavy engineering applications. Their products cost several times more than commodity adhesives, yet they consistently win critical accounts. Their success lies not in chemical superiority alone, but in how they sell. Their sales professionals begin conversations by understanding application stress, load conditions, environmental exposure, and failure consequences. They ask about recalls, liability, safety, and downtime. By reframing adhesives as structural risk management tools rather than consumables, they elevate the conversation. Customers stop comparing price per unit and start evaluating cost of failure. This shift transforms procurement discussions. Negotiation still occurs, but within a value framework defined by risk avoidance and operational assurance. In consultative value selling, the salesperson moves beyond providing solutions to co-creating them. This involves collaborative problem solving, joint evaluation, and shared accountability. Co-creation builds trust and locks in relevance. Customers are far less likely to replace a partner who helped design the solution than a vendor who simply supplied it. Knowing the customer's industry and operations is foundational. Knowing their business goals is transformational. Goals such as growth, risk mitigation, compliance, reputation protection, and operational excellence define decision criteria. When solutions are aligned with goals, price becomes secondary. Customers invest in outcomes, not inputs. Listening is no longer a soft skill, it is a strategic advantage. Deep listening reveals future opportunities, latent risks, and strategic priorities. It enables sellers to anticipate needs rather than react to requests. Consultative sellers listen not to respond, but to understand. Modern buyers do not want presentations, they want education. Educating customers about common failures, industry trends, and best practices positions the seller as a thought leader. Education builds credibility and trust. It reduces defensiveness and accelerates decision-making. Information is abundant. Insight is rare. Insight contextualizes information, explains consequences, and guides judgment. Consultative value sellers provide insight. They connect dots, highlight trade-offs, and simplify complexity. Price objections are symptoms of unestablished value. Instead of defending price, value sellers reframe the discussion around risk, life cycle cost, and business impact. By returning to diagnosis and consequences, price resistance naturally diminishes. Consultative sellers give value before asking for commitment. They share knowledge, prevent mistakes, and prioritize the customer's success. This generosity builds long-term influence and trust. Consultative value selling is not a technique but a mindset. It demands curiosity, courage, and discipline. It rewards those who think beyond products and focus on outcomes. In complex B2B environments, the future belongs to those who can shape decisions, manage beliefs, and co-create value.